Yo, what is up guys, Gray here, and today we have got our week 5 battle of the IBL D-League. We're going up against the other Brit in the league, DrSlaking, and the Bowland Bovines, and man, his team is disgusting, but we'll get into that in a moment. First off, you will notice that this is on Showdown, so we did plan to play this on Wi-Fi on a Wednesday night. It was the day before Matt went on holiday, so he was just packing throughout the day, and I was helping a friend move house, so we were very busy, but we scheduled a time on Wednesday night and kind of hoped that we managed to get it, but unfortunately he was unable to find a Jenna, so we kind of were like, okay, well, we'll just play it on Showdown when he is on holiday, because he was more than happy to do so. It's probably not optimal for him, but he was more than happy to do so, so yeah, we agreed to do that. However, we were like struggling to find a time with my work and him just being on holiday in a slightly different time zone. It became really difficult for us to find a time, and eventually we managed to get it done a little bit later than we were expecting. And yeah, going into his team, it's kind of just gross. Like, this man had the first pick of the draft and picked up Tapu Koko, and then somehow managed to get Kieran Black when the draft came back to him. I don't know who let him have that, but it's just disgusting. Like, my team had nothing for it. But we'll go into his team fully. You can see the 6 that he actually brought because Showdown. But he has the Tapu Koko, Kieran Black, Greninja, Mega Pinsir, Nihilego, Uxie, Heatran, Rotom, Gligar, Conkeldurr, fucking hell, I shouldn't have struggled with that, and Gastrodon is his last pick. And I was looking at his team and I was thinking, Koko and Kyurem are almost definites. Heatran is very likely. Greninja, again, very likely, very good against my team. And then I was kind of just thinking, maybe he'll bring the Uxie, he might bring Gligar, he might bring Gastrodon. I expected some kind of bulk. Didn't really expect Mega Pinsir, to be honest, but he brought it. So yeah, I did prep for it a little bit. There was definitely things I can do against it, like I have, of course, Hawlucha, and Aerodactyl has Flynium Z, plus Stone Edge after Mega Evolve will just destroy it, and Choke-Tini obviously kills it. You got Piloswine can hit it super effectively, and Choice Scarf Heliolisk also deals with it. So Mega Pinsir wasn't like the top of my kind of concerns. The only thing that concerned me is if it managed to get up a Swords Dance against my Tapu Bulu, because I don't have anything to hit it with this week, and yeah, then it becomes a problem. But it turns out he brought that and the Gastrodon. I kind of expected the Gligar over Gastrodon just because it matched up slightly better against my team, but at the same time I'm not surprised at all because it was like a 50-50 between the two. However, the team we are bringing this week, if I just get... no. No, let's do that on a different screen. Let's not ruin the recording. Hang on, then I will try and find a team, because this is actually, like, I've had to record this a second time. I did render the video, and then it turns out that everything was just kind of fucked up, and it didn't work at all. So I'm recording this, like, a little bit late. It's probably after the day the upload is meant to happen, actually. I'm fairly sure it was the Monday just gone. But, yeah. The team I'm bringing is a Grassy Seed, Hawlucha, kind of standard, and Burden, with Drain Punch, Acrobatics, Poison Jab, and Swords Dance. Adamant Nature, just enough speed to outspeed a Choice Scarf Tapu Koko, I believe, after the Unburden boost. And yeah, this kind of just tears through his team. If I get it in the right situation, and once any physical walls are down, whether that was Gligar or Gastrodon, obviously Gastrodon in this situation, then yeah, Hawlucha looks great in this matchup. It can do massive chunk to Kyurem, to Heatran with Drain Punch. I mean, Drain Punch or Acrobatics are probably just Oko Greninja. Acrobatics does a massive chunk to Mega Pinsir, and Poison Jab is there specifically for the Tapu Koko. So after a Swords Dance, actually, Hawlucha could just sweep this game. Yeah, that's kind of just Hawlucha, that's just what it does. Next up we have my one and only check to anything on his team, being Piloswine. Running kind of a more specially defensive set because Kieran Black just literally just tears through my team. I have nothing for it other than this Piloswine. So running Icicle Crash, Earthquake, Toxic, and Stealth Rocks. Again, it's my only rocker this week, and rocks are absolutely vital. Mega Pinsir does not appreciate those rocks at all, nor does Kyurem. And things like Greninja, Coco, and Heatran are all going to slowly be worn down because they don't have reliable recovery outside of Coco. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure he's going to run Roost this week because, yeah, my team's kind of offensive. It doesn't take a hit particularly well, so I wasn't sure. If he's like a Calm Mind Roost set, that is very scary for my team, but we cross that bridge when we come to it. If he decides to bring that is. Icicle Crash, Earthquake is kind of all the coverage I need. I am running Earthquake again on Piloswine, however this week it does make a little bit more sense because he's going to be negating my grassy terrain with his electric terrain, should he decide to bring in Coco at any point afterwards. So yeah, it does kind of serve a purpose. I am looking to run Stomping Tantrum most weeks after this because I keep forgetting about Earthquake in grassy terrain despite this being week 5. But yeah, this week it was actually planned, it was intended. Next up we have Choice Scarf, Heliolisk, like I said earlier, Thunderbolt, U-Turn, Grass Knot and Surf, Timid Nature, Max Special Attack, and yeah, this thing is kind of just like a fail-safe against a lot of his mons, especially with the Tapu Koko setting up the electric terrain for me. Unless he has a Scarf Greninja or Scarf Coco, I think it outspeeds everything on his team. Could be wrong on that. And yeah, it just kind of does a lot of damage. Once his ground type goes down, being Gastrodon, it just kind of tears through his team. It really does. Like, Kyurem, if I can whistle it down with rocks, won't appreciate a Thunderbolt in the electric terrain. Coco takes like 40 to 50% in the terrain as well. Heatran, again, if it's offensive, doesn't appreciate it. So it's just really good in this matchup. And yeah, I keep saying and yeah, I need to stop with that, but Tapu Bulu this week is a weird set, and I kind of wish I may have run something different. As you're going to see during the battle, it would have probably worked out slightly better, but I'm running a Leftovers Horn Leech Superpower Leech Seed substitute set, quite specially bulky with pretty much a stat in each of it, EVs in each of its stats even, with pretty much just like it's almost max per def, because I needed something as a secondary check to Coco, and Bulu just from its typing kind of does that unless it's running Brave Bird, and even in that case it's going to be like a Life Orb or Choice Banded Brave Bird to it KO me, so I wasn't too worried about it. It's Subseed because I want to kind of self a Subseed on the Heatran. If I can set that up, I can hopefully outspeed, depending on what his speed stat is. I do not have enough speed to outspeed a uninvested Heatran. So if I can set up a substitute and then start Leech Seeding and just being annoying, between the Leech Seed, Recovery, the Leftovers and the Grassy terrain, I'm fairly sure I just completely heal my own sub damage up per turn. So he's not going to be able to stall me out, he's going to have to switch, and that doesn't make Heatran a check to Bulu in any way. Especially because I'm rocking Superpower, like that's going to do a good 50% if he is defensive. If it's offensive, even better, it does like 70 I think at max. So Bulu is just, it's just kind of there. It's just there to be annoying, I think, and to slowly chip away at things it needs to. Next up we have Aerodactyl. It's Flynium Z this week with Stone Edge, Fly, Ice Fang and Hone Claws. So I brought Ice Fang over Earthquake just because I had very little to actually deal with a Gligar on this set. I think Stone Edge did 2-hit KO a specially defensive Gligar, but a physically defensive Gligar kind of just walled me. So I really felt like I needed to run that Ice Fang this week. And even then, like Ice Fang without a Home Claws up was only a chance to 2-hit KO. It wasn't guaranteed. But if I can get Home Claws up on anything on his team, then Aerodactyl is looking really good just to be able to kind of sweep. Sadly, I'm not running enough speed to outspeed a full max speed Tapu Koko, just because I don't really want to stay in on a Koko anyway, so I didn't see any point in running enough speed to outspeed it. So it's running a little bit of bulk, which could come in handy, you never know. Like it does improve rolls on certain mons like Greninja and with Heatran. So it may be good, it may come in handy. Flynium Z just does a massive chunk to a lot of things on his team, especially that Gastrodon, which I'm expecting to be physically defensive looking at his team. Potentially the Heatran will be physically defensive, but I feel there's going to be more on the special side to deal with things like Heliolisk and Victini. And talking of Victini, last one I'm bringing is a Life Orb Victini. It's got the right item on this week. No 3 choice Scarfers this week. We are running the correct set with Blue Flare, Grass Knot, Hidden Power Ground, and Focus Blast. So I'm kind of running 2 moves, moves that can 2-hit KO things. So Greninja dies to Focus Blast, it just drops. It does, I think, potentially die to a Grass Knot as well. Coco doesn't appreciate a Blue Flare, 2 Blue Flares will kill it. Same with Kyurem, but Focus Blast into anything really on this set other than Grass Knot is going to KO. Heatran Focus Blast into Hidden Power Ground kills a specially defensive set. Blue Flare kills Pinsir, and Blue Flare into Grass Knot, unless it's Rindo, will kill a Gastrodon. If not, then Focus Blast is kind of just like a middle ground kind of play. As long as I hit it, then yeah, it's a safe play to go. And I feel like I've probably dragged out this team builder far longer than it needed to, but one thing before we get into this battle, I'm just going to be pausing quite a bit because there was a lot of strange plays, a lot of kind of over predictions, all this sort of stuff that went on. And I kind of want to just explain the plays turn by turn, just to kind of give you an idea as to what was happening, because I know Slaking's side of it as well. I know what he was thinking, so I can kind of explain it relatively well. But without further ado, I lead off with my Helios because I'm thinking there's not really anything on his team that is particularly going to worry me. If he does lead with Gastrodon, then I can U-turn. If he leads with anything that's scared of Heliolisk, then I can U-turn as well. So as we're going to see, he leads off with his Greninja. This is a fantastic lead for me. However, I don't expect him to stay in. I'm fully expecting him to go out to his Gastrodon because it's first turn. I feel like there's no real reason to predict first turn, and the Thunderbolt was going to be super obvious. And risking his Greninja this early in the game, because the Thunderbolt does just kill. I'm like 90% sure the Thunderbolt just kills. So I don't expect him to just kind of throw away his Greninja at this point. I fully expect the Gastrodon to come in. As you can see, it actually just stays in. He predicted me to predict the Gastrodon coming in, so he decided to stay in and U-turn. It was a ballsy play on his part, but it worked out for him. And I just got out into my Piloswine. I don't really have anything that checks this set, and I don't expect him to go for the water move because I have my Heliolisk out first. And as you can see, he just goes for the U-turn, does nothing. And he goes out into his Kyurem Black, and I feel this is an interesting play because Piloswine is the one thing that I kind of brought to check this Kyurem Black. And sure, a Flash Cannon's going to hurt, Ice Beam is going to do a decent amount of damage, but I can set up my rocks and I can Toxic it. I'll be able to live 2 hits unless it's Choice Specs. Choice Specs Flash Cannon does, I think, 2-hit KO me. So not only does it give me the chance to either set up my rocks or Toxic it, it gives me a chance to scout out his set. And he goes for Ice Beam, and that does very little damage. I know he's not Choice Specs at this point, so I just go for the Toxic because I felt like that was the better play for me. And then I set up my rocks on the second go round. And here I'm thinking, he's not going to go for Earth Power. He's seen the damage rolls, Flash Cannon doing 42%, he knows I'm specially defensive, and the Earth Power is just not going to kill. And he's probably not going to want to take an Ice Crash or an Earthquake, going to put Kyurem in range of Stealth Rocks and Toxic and all this sort of stuff. So I'm going to go out to my Victini expecting either a Flash Cannon or Ice Beam again. Like either at this point, either kills, so either of those two is a safe play. However, in hindsight, killing off my Piloswine here is absolutely fine. There is nothing that I need it for at this point. It's too low to be able to kind of check Tapu Koko or to switch into like a Heatran or Greninja. So really, my play is to just kind of sack off my Piloswine and get in Victini for free, and he actually predicts me to switch out. It's kind of an interesting play because I know Earth Power wouldn't have killed. I think he thought it would kill, but looking at the rolls, there was no chance it killed. Like Ice Beam was doing 27% with Mold Breaker, it's super effective. I believe that's how it works. Actually, it might not. I think because of the way Thick Fat works, yeah, it doesn't account for that. No, actually, wait, no. Ice resist ice, never mind, I'm being dumb. So, yeah, he saw how much the Ice Beam was going to do, that was stabbed. So, yeah, Earth Power wouldn't have killed. I go into my Victini and get hit by that Earth Power, and that's really bad for me. And it just means that my Victini is now on a timer. And just in case he wanted to stay in, I was going to go for a Focus Blast. Like I said earlier, it is my middle ground play. I can use it whenever I kind of want because even Tapu Koko, unless it's like some weird specially defensive set, is not going to appreciate the hit particularly. And I know at this point my Victini is kind of just here to be sacked off, and he actually goes out into his Gastrodon, which turns out to be his check to Victini, but not his check to a special Victini, and I just go for Grass Knot. And we take down the one thing that's really kind of stopping Hawlucha from just kind of going in, as he goes out into his Greninja, and for some reason I decide, you know what, Victini is worth keeping around. It can throw off one more big hit, but at the same time, if he gets Stealth Rocks up, then that's an issue because it just dies on entry. And so I go out to my Piloswine, looking just to preserve my Victini for a chance to do a bit of damage. And here you're going to see what his plays were. I have no reason to not go into my Heliolisk at this point. Earthquake. Thunderbolt is a very free move. He's already sacked off his Gastrodon. I don't think he was sacking it off. I thought he thought he could actually live, not knowing that Grass Knot was something Victini learns. But he goes out into his Tapu Koko, which is fantastic for me. However, I predicted the Kyurem to come out, and again, in hindsight, Thunderbolt at this point kind of just won me the game. Like, if I just clicked Thunderbolt, I don't think he had anything on his team that could actually live outside of Heatran, and Heatran couldn't kill me. So, yeah, he sets up the Electric Surge, so I'm just going to U-turn out, and I go into my Tapu Bulu as my kind of designated check to Tapu Koko. And here I'm 100% expecting Heatran to come out to like set up the rocks so Victini dies on entry, to start chipping away at Aerodactyl and Hawlucha, plus the Stealth Rocks damage a couple of times on Heliolisk puts it in range of like an Earth Power or a Lava Plume from the Heatran. So 100% I was expecting the Heatran to come out, and he actually goes out into his Kyurem Black, which is super bad for me because I clicked Leech Seed, and he's now going to be able to get a free hit off with his Kyurem Black. The only thing I got that really is kind of pointless at this point to keep around is Victini. So sadly, I kind of sacked off two monsters Kyurem for no reason. Victini could be at near enough full health, and my Piloswine could have died earlier. It could have got a bigger hit off on this Kyurem, and it probably would have actually been dead on the return in, especially after Leech Seed. It probably would have just died. So unfortunate, but it is what it is. Like, he predicted that play, and so obviously props to him. I go for a really risky Stone Edge here. I could quite easily have just clicked Fly. I didn't want Heatran to come in for free though, so I click Stone Edge. It does knock out the Kyurem. Fortunately, I hit it. If I didn't hit it, then I would be in for a major issue, because man, that would have been bad. And here he goes out into his Greninja. And like I mentioned earlier, I have a bit of bulk on this Aerodactyl, and I know that if he is Expert Belt, which is kind of the only item he could be Specs. I haven't seen Specs, but Specs and U-turn would kind of be a bit weird. Wouldn't put it past him to run it at all, but at the same time, I didn't believe he was Specs. I thought he was going to be Expert Belt, because that kind of just hits everything on my team pretty effectively. And I looked at the calc and I saw that it would take 4 hits of Water Shuriken to even have a chance of taking me out, and even then it was like a 6.3% chance of OHKOing. So I felt fairly safe if he just happened to get the 5-turn roll. I felt fairly safe just going for my Z-Fly here and get rid of Greninja, because if he doesn't go for the Water Shuriken, I know I outspeed, I kill. I know he's not Choice Scarf because my Heliolisk outsped earlier, unless he's like Choice Scarf with less speed than Heliolisk, which would be super weird. Then yeah, I'm going to 100% outspeed, and I feel like he may just predict the Water Shuriken, me to predict the Water Shuriken. It is kind of very obvious that he's going to go for it here. And considering how good Aerodactyl is against the rest of his team, especially if I had Earthquake. If I had Earthquake, it's fantastic against the rest of his team. But yeah, he just goes he just goes for what, a Surf or a Dark Pulse. I think he goes for the Dark Pulse maybe here, as I go for the Z-Fly and get rid of the Greninja, and we're now in a fantastic position. I don't know why he didn't go out into Tapu Koko first. I think maybe he just didn't have speed in Koko or something. I know he like completely misprepped his Koko and didn't have like 200 EVs, so I don't know if that was in speed or if that was in its offenses, but he didn't want to risk, I assume, a speed tie, and went into his Greninja first to try and bluff the Water Shuriken. But yeah, we're going to be in a great position just from killing off his Greninja, because there's very little now that can outspeed my team and do like a massive chunk. Like Gunk Shot to Bulu was the one thing that kind of really scared me at this point. So he goes out to his Coco. I have no reason to not go into my Tapu Bulu, as I know he has one switch in at this point, and he just goes for the defog. That kind of sucks because of Pinsir, but at the same time, like, I go for the superpower here. Okay, so here I see that he has got max HP. I don't know whether he's max attack or whether he's max Spadef. He could be max speed as well, which, fun fact, he actually is max speed. He's max HP, max speed. I don't know what set he is, and I don't want to risk anything at this point. Like, I know a superpower isn't going to kill, and my plan was always to Leech Seed this. So he sets up his Stealth Rocks, which kind of sucks for me because at this point I can't defog away. I don't have a defogger at all this week. But I go for Leech Seed, and I realise actually that's a really bad play because his Heatran is actually recovering the same amount as Leech Seed is able to recover. And I feel like if I'm going to make a play, I've got to make it now. And as you can see, I go out to my Hawlucha expecting maybe a Flash Cannon because it hits most of my team pretty hard. He may have predicted the Aerodactyl to come out, but he just goes for a Lava Plume as I switch out into my Hawlucha. Fortunately, we do not get the burn because that would have really sucked. That would absolutely have sucked. But at this point, I'm fairly free to just go for a Drain Punch. I know that if his Coco comes out, I Drain Punch into Poison Jab and it should KO. If he stays it in, Drain Punch kills. If he goes out into his Pinsir, Drain Punch into Acrobatics will kill. So I'm feeling like at this point I've got a very good chance of just being able to sweep up. As I go for the Drain Punch, get a little bit of health back from the Leech Seed. So actually that kind of worked out quite nicely. But I go for the Drain Punch and I see he's at 62%. I look at my calc and I'm thinking, you know what, this absolutely should kill. Like this, it's a roll, but it should kill. It's my only real play at this point. So I go for the Poison Jab, and he reveals to be Kevia Berry, so really nice prep on his part as he just kills me with a Discharge. And I'm in a much worse situation, but still in a good situation, if that makes any sense. Because if I just click Thunderbolt here, Thunderbolt will kill the Coco. It has a chance, depending on what set he's running with his Heatran, it has a chance to just Oko from the range he's at. And of course it will Oko a Mega Pinsir. It is first turn Mega in this league, but I think even a regular Pinsir in Electric Terrain just kind of drops to a Thunderbolt. So my play here is to click Thunderbolt 3 times and just hope that I can live. And here, for whatever reason, when I was in the battle, I was like, I was doing calcs, and this turn took me ages because I was just calcing, I was calcing. I was like, if he's specially defensive, it's a really bad roll in my favour. And I was looking at a calc which was specially defensive with max special attack as well, and I was looking at it, I was like, oh man, Earth Power just kills, like I can't live a hit. But had I looked at a calc properly and actually edited it properly, I would have seen that if he was max special defense, then he couldn't kill me with Earth Power. If he was max special attack, I kill with Thunderbolt. So absolutely 100% my play here is to go for Thunderbolt. So I'm really just kind of mad that I didn't do this in the game, because I'm actually going to switch out into my Bulu. Do I go into my Bulu? I'm fairly sure I go to Bulu here. So I'm going to switch out to my Bulu, and he's going to get all of the upper hand because I'm going to give him the grassy terrain. I no longer have the electric terrain that guarantees this KO on Heatran if he is offensive, and it puts me in a really bad spot if his Pinsir comes in, because I could just lose after he sets up a Swords Dance, or depending on how the turns go, I could just lose from Quick Attack into Heatran because I won't have that electric terrain. So here's something of a choke where I go out into my Tapu Bulu, set up the grassy terrain, he goes for a Lava Plume, and that does a massive chunk, meaning I can't live 2. And if he's max speed, he just kills here. So I'm going to go for the superpower. It's my only real play. I could have doubled out into my Aerodactyl, predicting him to go for Lava Plume again and risk the burn. However, I just had to I had to go for the superpower to try and kill that Heatran, because it was the one thing stopping my Heliolisk from winning at this point. Because I misplayed so badly, it literally was the only thing, and If only I clicked Thunderbolt. If only I had clicked Thunderbolt, I'd be in such a great position right now. But sadly I didn't, and I'm going to try and prevent any potential sword stance. Like I said, like SD is the only way in which I can potentially lose this match. So, I say the only way, it's a particular way in which I can lose this match. He just goes for the return, and sadly returning to quick attack is going to kill my Aerodactyl. Again, like, it was just a misplay on top of a misplay, and I'm going to just go back. So, yeah. It was initially a misplay to switch out of Heliolisk, and then it was a misplay to switch out of Bulu. I don't think it was necessarily a bad misplay, but at the same time, like, Aerodactyl initially just kind of won me the game. So when I was in the position with Heliolisk, again, like, this is a second scenario in which Thunderbolt didn't kill. I just come in and I click Stone Edge twice, or I click Fly into Stone Edge, or Fly into Fly again. Like, any kind of combination with Aerodactyl kind of just cleaned up the game. So yeah, I'm kind of mad, like really mad that I did click Thunderbolt with Heliolisk, but now I'm in a situation. So I'll take the Staff Rocks damage, and I'm looking at it like I'm going to take a quick attack damage, and that puts me 100% in range of Heatran and his Earth Power. However, if he isn't running enough speed to be able to outspeed my Tapu Bulu, because I know he switched out earlier when he had a chance just to KO it, potentially Bulu outspeeds and I can get a Super Power off, and that wins me the game after a Thunderbolt. So there's so many different scenarios that could play out at this point. However, he just doesn't click Quick Attack, and it kind of just gives me the game, because Grassy Terrain goes away, it's not going to get any recovery. And judging off of that damage, 100% Thunderbolt would have killed it. It was, as I said, max HP, max speed, as it turns out. So Thunderbolt would have killed it from the range it was at. It was a good bluff on his part. It was his only kind of way to actually win the game. But sadly, he has actually kind of just choked it away, because he's now in a position where, as you can see, Earth Power doesn't kill, and the paralysis actually really mattered. It really mattered there, and we're going to pick up a 2-0 win. And it's one of those games where I just feel like I didn't play everything particularly well. I feel like he probably played better over the course of the battle, but we certainly both misplayed, and misplayed big time. We acknowledged that this was a really kind of scrappy battle. It wasn't a good one at all, and there was ways in which both of us could have won at any point. Like, there was many points of the game in which, had we clicked the right move, would have led to us winning the game. But it is what it is. Good game to DrSlaking. Certainly not going to be the last time that I face him. I know there's a couple of leagues we're looking at where we're going to be in the same league, so definitely not the last time we are facing each other. That is spoilers, by the way. Spoilers for another league. But yeah, good game again. If you don't know who he is, then by all means, like, go and check out his channel. He's a great guy, great content creator. I can't speak. We moved to 2 and 3, even not 3 and 3. We are 2 and 3 in week 5. So yeah, we're making some kind of strides towards playoffs. We do need to kind of win out to be able to make playoffs, just from our poor start to the season. A couple of losses kind of really hit us hard, especially on our differential. So only a 2-0 win against DrSlaking. It's still a win, I'm going to take it, but it doesn't really help our differential case too much. And because our differential is that bad, we kind of need to win out to be like standing any chance of getting into playoffs. I'm sorry if you just heard my knuckles crack then, by the way. I literally just clenched my fist a little bit and it just cracked my knuckles. Anyway, I am rambling. Again, make sure you go and check out his channel. His side is almost definitely up at this point. So yeah, if you want to see what he was thinking, go and check him out. And I will see you guys in week 6. We go up against Obo29, taking over from Pokemaster Mike. Sad we don't get to face Mike, but it is what it is. We face Obo. Super excited to play him as well. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day. Peace.